All right, thanks, Adnan. Tonight we've got a battle for bragging rights in the DFW. Gary Patterson brings his number 16 TCU Horned Frogs across the Metroplex to take on SMU, weather permitting. We were scheduled for an 8 Eastern time kick, but lightning has affected this, and we don't know how long we're going to be waiting. We hope we can get a game in here tonight. This rivalry dates back to 1915. And Patterson, who's only lost to SMU twice in the 17 years he's been head coach at TCU. This year, his club makes the 40-mile trip here to East Dallas. Rain, rain, go away. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to the Big D alongside former UConn star Dan Orlovsky. I'm Clay Matvick. And TCU is heavy favorites here tonight. They worked over Southern last week in their opener. Easy to think that the Frogs might be looking ahead on their schedule to Ohio State and Texas. But Gary Patterson teams generally don't do that.
Way too detailed of a coach to allow that to happen. And speaking with him, he actually thinks they can play better than they did last week. You know, you don't get to 161 wins unless you know exactly how to get your team to play well. 11-plus wins in 10 out of the last 15 seasons, Clay. They've earned the right to be in the conversation with the Ohio States, Oklahomas, Alabamas, and Clemsons. He'll have this team ready to go tonight.
He's got a good quarterback, and TCU's had great quarterback play in recent years, but they think Sean Robinson could be extra special.
They do, and he's probably the most decorated recruit, at least at that position, that they've ever had. He won a state championship at DeSoto High School, the storied program down here. You know, last week, in his only second start ever, in the first half, he throws for 3 touchdowns and runs for 2. Done only once last year by Ole Miss's Jordan Timu. So they've got really, really big hopes. The sky's the limit for this super talented sophomore.
Better late than never. Let's get it going. Lightning was the issue, not the rain. Gary Patterson, 18 years at TCU now, the second longest tenured coach in the country. Only Kirk Ferentz at Iowa has been at his school longer. And he was anxious to make sure they got this game in tonight, chomping at the bit.
Okay, turn around.
And Sonny Dykes is on the other sideline. It'll be his 3rd game as SMU's head coach. He coached the bowl game last year. First game at home for him. It stops at Louisiana Tech and Cal. And last year, he was an assistant for Gary Patterson. And TCU won the toss, and they elected to defer. So Cole Bunce has it on the tee as the rain continues to fall. As long as the lightning stays away, we're going to be fine. C.J. Sanders, grad transfer from Notre Dame, is back deep to return for SMU. Fair catch called for in the end zone, and they're going to start at the 25. That's where we're going to get our first look at the SMU offense, which really struggled last week. Trying to find an identity here tonight behind their quarterback, Ben Hicks, who's coming off a record-setting 2017. Threw for over 3,500 yards and a team record 33 touchdowns last year. 57 career touchdowns responsible for it. The next one will set a new record there as well. Gets it right in the hands of James Prochet, and they're going to want to do that early and often, Dan. That's a pickup of 6 yards on first down.
And it's exactly what Rhett Lashley, their offensive coordinator, wanted. Ball out, guy in space.
Here's Brayton West. He's going to run, and he's going to pick up a first down. Great sign for this SMU offense. Struggled so poorly last week. Just 1 first down in the first half against North Texas, and they've got one here on the opening series quickly.
And they said this was going to be a big deal, Clay. Get possession, get a first down, allow us to get into some rhythm.
Go back to the ground game. Brayton West, be a short carry, but that's what offensive coordinator Rhett Lashley wants to do. Establish the run game. They had -3 yards on the ground in the first half last week.
And the challenge for them is figuring out what they're good at when it comes to the run game. What can they lean on and be committed to doing it?
Hicks has stacked receivers on either side. Second down and 8. And Hicks will keep. This is not a usual element of his game, but it takes TCU by surprise. Ben Hicks runs for the first down. It's a gain of 9 out close to midfield. But Hicks lost his helmet. He's going to have to come off the field for a play.
But he told us yesterday, Clay, I'm comfortable running the football. I know I'm not the dynamic athlete that may have been part of Auburn in the past, where Rhett Lashlee comes from, but I'm good enough to run this offense.
Now, William Brown, a true freshman backup for Hicks, has to come in. He's out of Rosenberg, Texas. And he'll hand off to West. West bounces off a tackle, gets free, and he's in the secondary. Goodbye, Braden West, touchdown. Not the offense we saw last week at North Texas. The Mustangs jump out to the early lead. It's a 51-yard run to the end zone for Braden West.
And these are those little things, Clay. It's just that simple one-back power. Jerseys are a little wet because of this rain. You've got to wrap. You've got to secure those tackles. Braden West, beautiful job of running strong, spin move, huge play to start this game for SMU.
Braden West with a rushing and a receiving touchdown last week. Will Moore comes on for the extra point and bangs it home. It's a 5-play, 75-yard scoring drive in under 2 minutes for SMU. They got spanked last week, 46-23 by a Conference USA team. They're leading TCU out of the Big 12, 7-0 here. You're watching the American Conference on ESPN. Back here in soggy Dallas, Clay Matvick and former UConn star Dan Orlovsky played 13 years in the NFL. And we wondered how the weather might affect these two teams here tonight. Almost a 2-hour delay. TCU, the number 16 team in the country, they're playing catch-up now.
Absolutely, and you tip your hat to SMU. They've handled it fantastic. Great start to drive to start this game. Got their playmakers in space and finished the drive.
Now the Horned Frogs who get it for the first time. Short kick. Good field position for Sean Robinson. The Frogs offense. This will be his 3rd career start. Kenny Hill's backup last year. And it's Robinson's team now, the sophomore out of DeSoto, Texas. He and the Frogs rocked Southern last week, 55-7, 500 yards of total offense. He scored 5 touchdowns himself, all in the first half, 3 passing, 2 rushing. Shewololana Alua in the backfield, and he's going to get the first carry for the Frogs. Big physical running back, 6'3", 231 pounds. He picks up 6 yards.
And Clay, we might see a little bit more tempo out of this TCU offense to really get their guys going, get some energy back into this football team.
Alua again, first down and a little bit more. Out near the 45-yard line. Offensive coordinator Sonny Cumbie is going to try to stay balanced, Dan. Last year, TCU ran the ball 55% of the time.
That's what they want to be, though. They want to be a balanced team, especially with the young quarterback. Bunch of playmakers around them. Mix your run and pass within it.
Robinson lost the football. Who's got it? Looks like the sophomore was able to recover.
Is a fumble that was recovered by the offense. It's 2nd down.
And Clay, this is going to be the theme of the night. What team is willing to do all these little things I keep talking about? You can't take any handoff or zone read fake for granted. Everything's got to be done with extreme finite focus.
And Patrick Nelson, the strong safety for SMU. He trying to recover that fumble, but it's going to be TCU ball. Alanalua out of the backfield. He's going to be wrapped up. That's a loss. It'll be 3rd down and long for the Frogs as we go down to Paul Carcaterra.
Sean Robinson, Gatorade Player of the Year 2 years ago from DeSoto, Texas. Accumulated over 7,000 yards through the air, 4,000 on the ground throughout his high school career. And you mentioned, Clay, balance well. Sonny Cumbie loves the options with Robinson. He's a passer first, but he can burn you with his feet.
A little trouble with that one exchange, and now he faces a 3rd down and 14. Opening series for TCU. Robinson stays clean in the pocket, over the middle, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Jalen Rager, and nearly picked off. It's 4th down, and the Frogs will have to kick. Boy, Cole Stearns almost had an interception.
Well, we've seen in this game, TCU defense, a couple missed tackles. Play before this, a fumble on a missed exchange, and now a beautiful throw by Sean Robinson and Jalen Rager, their big-time receiver, just not doing the small things, securing that catch. It's not a normal catch. It's a wet ball catch. Pull it all the way in.
So now Adam Nunez, the 3rd-year punter for TCU, comes out for his first kick. High snap. He's able to get it away. Sanders back. Crochet. And Robertson with a big return. But there's a penalty flag down. Big return for Reggie Robertson, but it looks like it might come back. Sonny Dice.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 28. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's 1st down SMU. Timeout on the field.
Christian Davis with the block in the back wipes out a big return for Robertson on a gadget play.
Try to pull a trick play essentially on the return, get one returner on one side of the field, bring Robertson on the other. Fools TCU, the silly penalty hurts their return team.
Ben Hicks hands off on 1st down. It's Brayton West again. Pick up a handful. Gary Patterson said, you know, he fully anticipated that SMU might run some trick, play some gadget plays here tonight, keep TCU off balance.
They hit him twice on offense with some gadget, but right now I like their run game. They're getting some push at the line of scrimmage, and then Brayton West doing a nice job of having patience, picking his hole, and running.
Couple more for West. Last week, SMU had 16 yards of offense in the 1st half. And -3 rushing yards. First drive tonight, 69 rushing yards and a touchdown.
And it all started with that 1st down. That initial 1st down, Clay, has allowed this offense to have some rhythm. Huge 3rd down here to keep this drive going, gain some momentum back.
Became Freeman on the 3rd down carry. And it looks like he's got enough. A short yardage back for the Mustangs, and they will move the chains. Now, last week, that lopsided loss to North Texas, Dan, SMU 2 for 8 on 3rd downs.
But we're seeing a totally different offensive line tonight. They're relying on it, pushing the ball, pushing the line of scrimmage.
Quick release from Hicks, gets it in the hands of Galliard again. They're into plus territory. They have about 8. Boy, this is a very confident Ben Hicks. What he struggled with first half last week. And Rhett Lashley is going to that ground game. Not a lot of operating room that time for Freeman. Maybe a yard. It'll bring up 3rd down and short. Innes Gaines, one of your impact players, makes the tackle. His helmet comes off, and he's going to have to leave the field for at least one play.
But if you're Rhett Lashley, you're loving this right now. You've had 3 3rd downs in a row that have been under 2 yards. So that allows you to get into some unique formations. The run game is still part of it. You're in a good situation here.
They go to Freeman. He lowers his head for a 1st down. Freeman led SMU with 11 rushing touchdowns last year, including a couple against TCU. Come off. West comes back in. 1st and 10 from the TCU 41. Battle for the iron skillet. Hicks will go to the air. Threw it into traffic and incomplete. Should have been intercepted. Garrett Wallow, the Sam linebacker, had his hands on it. And that's the first incompletion for Hicks, and he nearly threw a pick.
He got away. What they're trying to do is get that middle linebacker Wallow to suck up with just okay as the quarterback running and leak the tailback down the middle of the field. Hicks a little too aggressive. They got away with one right there. I couldn't run as good as Ty Summers there. I had a really good understanding of fronts, how they married with blitzes and coverages. I had great coaching from high school, college, and on. I was fortunate with that.
Ty Summers with the sack. 4th down. SMU's going to have to punt. Jimmy Sackville trying to pin TCU deep. Checks up, takes a TCU bounce, but still a long field for the Frogs. 1st and 10 for TCU. Here's Robinson looking to throw now, and he's going to take a deep shot. Looking for Rager. He overthrew him. And it wasn't even that close.
That's not the first time we're going to see that formation. They like to put Rager to the field by himself, but you know, for this TCU offense, they're going to rely on Cavante Turpin. He is their match, like the match, electric vertical juice. And then for the SMU defense, Jordan Wyatt is going to have a huge game, not only mirroring Jalen Rager, but communicating on that back end, making sure all these secondary guys are doing their job.
Wyatt was in the coverage on Rager on that last play. 2nd down and 10 for the Frogs, down a touchdown. Batted around and incomplete. That should have been caught by Jerrison Stewart, the inside receiver from Mesquite. Shane Haley was there defensively. And it'll be 3rd down and 10.
It's a nice job by Sean Robinson of seeing inside pressure, replacing it to Jerrison Stewart with the shot. It's just these TCU receivers, focus. This ball is wet. Whatever you have to do, body catching it, doesn't matter. You got to secure these catches.
Robinson out to a 1 for 5 start passing. Play action. Rolls to his right now, gets a little pressure, throws it off his back foot. It's underthrown, and that should have been intercepted. Patrick Nelson back there in the coverage. The Illinois transfer has really played well in the secondary here in the first couple of games for the Mustangs.
And this is an example of a young quarterback trying to press right now. Pressure in his face, throws it up, gets away with it. You got to be conscious as a quarterback right now that you can't just make any kind of throw. That ball's going to come out of your hand differently.
Adam Nunez with the snap going over his head, running for his life, lost the football. Ball's loose, goes through the end zone.
The ruling on the field is a fumble that was accidentally kicked out of bounds. It went out of bounds in the end zone. Result of the play is a safety.
9-0 SMU, and they're going to get the football back.
And we're just seeing a drastic difference. One team handling delay, handling the elements. The other team, who you would expect to do a better job of it, not being able to do the little things. Receivers dropping the ball, now the punter dropping the ball, trying to make something special leads to the fumble. All these little things, Clay, add up. And now you're on the road at deficit. And you've got an SMU team, came in here a little hungry, a little embarrassed last week, feeling good about themselves. Gary Patterson's got to rally his team on the sideline.
You know, and we're talking to Gary Patterson. Got any concerns about your team perhaps not being focused, looking ahead to Ohio State, who's on the schedule next week, Texas in 2 weeks? You got to wonder if that's in the back of his mind now. C.J. Sanders on the return. Good return, too, out to the 40. That's going to be the end of the first quarter. SMU will take this start after a 2-hour lightning delay. SMU came out of the locker room ready to play, and TCU is a slow starter. A touchdown from Braden West, and then a special teams mistake by the Frogs. And the underdogs have the lead. It's 9-0 SMU here in Big D. Rhett Lashley, the OC for SMU, has to love his team start. 114 total yards so far. He's in a quarterback, and he runs ahead for a pickup of 5. True freshman dual threat out of Lamar Consolidated High School. Now Ben Hicks comes right back to the field. And it will be Brown to Hicks. Gadget play incomplete as Hicks was hit as he threw. It's now 3rd down and long. Hicks stepping up. He's going to throw to the flat and throw at the feet of Xavier Jones. And TCU will get off the field.
And listen, I know that's an incompletion and all that, but if you're Ben Hicks, it's the right decision. That's the guy that was open. Punting is okay right now. You don't want a turnover or a big sack fumble right there. You get to reset an offense on the sideline. Allow your defense to continue to play really good football.
Second straight 3-and-out for SMU. Jamie Sackville, good punt. Backing Turpin inside the 25. He is a dangerous return man. 3 career punt returns for touchdown, and he's got another one. And TCU is on the board. A 78-yard punt return for Kavontae Turpin. Turpin, a preseason All-American return man, and you can see why. A couple of special teams faux pas tonight for the Frogs, but they get a lift from Turpin on special teams as Bunts tacks on the extra point to pull the Frogs to within a deuce.
And Clay, we called him a match, and all you got to do is give him a little space to get lit. The patience to follow some blocks, and then when you get him in the open field to point to the punter, no one is catching this kid in the open field. He's absolutely electric. And this is something that, as the special teams coordinator for SMU, you've got to be fearful moving forward. You can't kick the ball in the middle of the field to this kid.
Last season, he was the only player in the FBS with a punt return, kickoff return, rushing, receiving, and passing touchdown. From inside the 5, Sanders. Short of the 30.
Nice job by Jeff Gladney there, getting that holding call on Roberson. Takes away a big play for SMU.
A shovel pass to Ryan Becker. Corey Bethley, the defensive tackle, freshman All-American last year, drops him down to the turf. Second down and long.
And if you're SMU and Rhett Lashley, you don't want to be in these situations. Your goal was to stay ahead of the chains and get yourself into really good situations. Past couple of drives, you've gotten away from that, and now you're giving TCU this defense that all they need is one play to start feeling really good about themselves.
Hicks pushed out of the pocket, got rid of it, caught at the 22-yard line by Crochet. And he gets back barely to the line of scrimmage. Third down now. Garrett Wallow on that tackle, the converted safety.
And we're in that same situation again for Ben Hicks in this offense. Nothing crazy here. I'd love to see Lashley get some kind of screen, confirm a completion, see if you can pop a big play that's somewhat safe.
This is where Hicks could use Trey Quinn or Cortland Sutton, two of his big receiving weapons from last year, gone to the NFL. Third and a mile, caught West. And SMU's going to have to kick. So much talent gone from SMU. Quinn, Sutton, both left early to the National Football League. They combined for 2,300 yards and 25 touchdowns last year. Sutton, the second-round pick of the Broncos. Quinn, last pick of the draft by the Redskins. Ben Hicks really misses him. Sonny Dykes would certainly like to have him. This is the fourth punt now for Sackville. The Australian gets it away. Turpin with the touchdown return on his last attempt. Calls for the fair catch this time. We step aside. SMU with a 2-point lead thanks to a safety. Clay Matvick, Dan Orlovsky, Paul Carcaterra back here in Dallas, where we had a late start to this game. The battle for the iron skillet between TCU and SMU. The Mustangs with a touchdown and a safety, a punt return for TCU. It's 9-7. Darius Davis gets around that right corner. What a college debut last week. He had a receiving touchdown, a punt return touchdown, and he gets loose on the reverse here.
Just trying to take advantage of an SMU defense that's playing really aggressive and downhill right now. I love the call coming out of the punt from Sonny Cumbie.
They fake the handoff to Alana Lua. Strike to Cavante Turpin. That's a gain of 9. The 42 now of SMU.
You know, Clay, Sean Robinson starting to get a little bit of a rhythm going on, getting comfortable. Kenny Hill is a kid who played quarterback here in the past, who's now on this coaching staff. I got to imagine Kenny pulled him to the side and helped him handle this rough start in this situation.
Second and 1. That's Anderson. He got the first down. Yeah, Robinson became the first true freshman to start for Gary Patterson last year. And he beat Texas Tech last November when Kenny Hill was hurt. Like you said, Hill is here now on staff as an assistant. Good support for the young Robinson as Anderson is going to get no gain on that play. Now, you've mentored quarterbacks in the past, and that's what Hill is doing here with Robinson. There's Kenny Hill, now a student assistant for Gary Patterson. Has to be great for Sean Robinson to have him to lean on.
Been incredibly impactful, and like I said, Sonny Cumbie said sometimes I can push Sean Robinson a little bit more, and then Kenny's there to kind of reinforce what he's saying.
Over 9 minutes to go here before halftime. TCU down a couple at second down and 10 for Robinson and the TCU offense. Anderson, good run. He's going to be tripped up at the 30-yard line, a gain of 7.
It always helps when you have a friend and a former teammate as a student assistant, and that's what Kenny Hill is for Sean Robinson. He is a calming presence. He played in Sonny Cumbie's offense. He can relate to him, and when Sean Robinson comes off the field, the first guy that he talks to, typically, Kenny Hill.
And there you see that impact right there, Kark, how important that relationship is, especially in moments where you've started a little bit rough.
And on third down. TCU gets the first down and more, but the ball pops out again. Loose football in the end zone, and it's recovered by Jalen Austin. Touchdown Horned Frogs. They get a break. And
Ruling
they
on
get
the
the
field
lead.
is a fumble recovered by TCU for a touchdown.
Boy, it is hard to keep control of the football tonight as it continues to pour here in Dallas.
Clay, that's just an example of a receiver not taking a play off, hustling down, trying to get an extra block, being at the right place at the right time. But the ball finds players who hustle.
Well, TCU gave up a couple of points because of the sloppy weather here tonight. They get a break here as Alana Lua lost the football. Heading toward the end zone, had it popped out. But Jalen Austin, the senior from Grand Prairie, Texas, is there to recover it before it goes out of the back of the end zone.
And like I said, it's about effort, following the play, and don't take it for granted. Austin does a nice job of not just jumping on top of the ball. Watch him slide in on his side to make sure, almost on his hip, to secure that ball, because you never know where it's going to squirt since it is a wet ball. Really good job of doing a little thing right there, being in the right place at the right times.
But now TCU's playing from in front for the first time tonight. C.J. Sanders takes it to the middle of the field, and he's tripped up across the 25 down at the 27. And with that wet ball, TCU gives it back to SMU, and Hicks is going to take a shot on first down, intended for Robertson. They come up empty. Gladney in on the coverage.
I like the fact that Lashley's coming out with Ben Hicks and saying, giving him some confidence, right? Let's take a shot here. We just got a nice turnover. Can we hit them early? But you also have to know your defense and the guy you're playing against. Gary Patterson's too smart for that. He's not going to just give you an easy touchdown right there.
The weather has been an equalizer here tonight. SMU's in this football game. Had a chance to take the lead at halftime. James Prochet on that catch gets it out to the 44. It's third down and manageable. A minute 25 to go here, first half. SMU with a couple of timeouts remaining. West dances ahead. He's going to be short. It's fourth down. It's actually Xavier Jones. SMU will go for it here. They've got the first down. It's Xavier Jones. Jones over 1,000 yards last year.
I love it out of SMU.
22 seconds to go before halftime. Hicks plays it to the sideline, and Robertson steps out of bounds at the 40. Clock stops with 18 seconds to go. SMU still has a timeout to spin.
Clay, the big thing now is for Ben Hicks, you can have your own offense. You've got timeouts. The number one thing, where do I need to get for a field goal attempt? That drives a lot of the decision-making you're going to have. Kevin
Robledo, transfer from Florida State, is their long-range field goal kicker. Hicks down the sideline. There's some contact. James Prochet running into Izuhaku along the sideline. No penalty flag. Stops the clock with 13 seconds to go. Third down.
Incompletions are okay. Time is your friend. But like I said, Ben Hicks has to be aware right now. One, let me get this first down, stop the clock. Where do I need to get for a field goal attempt?
Hicks keeps it. And he's down at the 31-yard line. We're going to hustle up to the line. And Hicks will spike it. with 6 seconds to go here in the first half. How about this clock management? How about this hurry-up offense for SMU? It struggled so badly, especially in the first half last week at North Texas. But this is a sharper unit for Rhett Lashley here tonight. This will be a 49-yard attempt. To make it a 2-point game. Bingo! And Sonny Dykes is pleased with this first half. Even though his team is down, much better than last week. TCU, they got down 9-0, but SMU has the field goal at the end of the half. It is 14-12 TCU at the break. Clay Matvick, former UConn star Dan Orlovsky back here in the Big D. It's 14-12 TCU at the half, but TCU came out lethargic here tonight, a little slow. SMU, they were the sharper team after that 2-hour lightning delay. What do you expect here in the second half?
Well, credit both those teams for kind of settling in a little bit. You know, TCU's really in this ball game because their dynamic playmaker, Cavante Turpin, finds a way to have a huge impact on a punt return, which was a big turning point in the game. And then players being at the right place at the right time, receivers, Jalen Austin following the play, falling on a fumble. But, you know, at the same time, Clay, TCU's hurt themselves a little bit. Big fumble before the half. SMU takes advantage of it. Huge 3 points at the end of the half. I'm excited to see how both these teams handle a little bit more of routine halftime coming out of the locker room.
I'm sure Gary Patterson had some words for his team at the half. TCU's going to start with the football from the 18-yard line. Daniels on the return. Decent field position for the Frogs here to start the second half as we go down to Paul Carcaterra.
Well, Gary Patterson has no voice left whatsoever. I've been watching him this entire first half, getting after his guys relentlessly. He told me his offense, it's nothing that SMU's defense is doing. They are just shooting themselves in the foot. They're not going through their progressions defensively. He's very upset, said poor tackling, blown coverages. This is not the first half he wanted. He said the slow start, because of the lightning delay and the weather, certainly was troublesome in terms of them getting going and then getting into a rhythm.
Dan, there is no coach in the country that prepares his team more thoroughly than Patterson. Can't imagine he was happy as that pass is incomplete, intended for Rager.
He kept referencing yesterday, at least this is the vibe that I got from him. The standard was so high and the expectation level was so high. And that's what we're hearing from Cark, that he's not happy with how anybody's playing. And the expectation level is for this program, for this team to play much better than they did in the first half.
Sean Robinson got out to a cool start throwing the football in this game. 1 for his first 6. Trying to throw here. He'll run up in the pocket and takes a punishing hit at the 46-yard line from Kyron Mitchell. It's a gain of 8, but he paid for it.
But I love the decision, Clay. Nothing's there. Trust your feet. Get a positive play for your offense, and now you're in 3rd and short instead of trying to force a ball or sitting back in the pocket and taking a sack. This is a good situation for this offense coming out of halftime.
Robinson making his 3rd career start for the Frogs here tonight. Run pass option, hands off, and it looks like it's enough for a first down for Shewo Alanalua, junior out of Houston. There's another tackle for Patrick Nelson. And that's just the 2nd 3rd down conversion for TCU here tonight, Dan.
And that's why that scramble on 2nd down is so big, because then you get into 3rd and short, and Alanalua can be a part of your play call.
See if TCU can take advantage of it. Good run for Darius Anderson. Said it before, he is not 100%. Still coming back from a foot injury, but he looks solid there on first down. 2nd and short.
interesting to see if SMU or TCU tries to take a shot right here to Rager down at the boundary.
Rager lined up to the right, but they run it, and it's Anderson again ripping off a first down carry inside the 25. Nelson made the tackle, but it's a gain of 8. They'll move the chains, and TCU will keep on moving.
Yeah, their bell cow, Darius Anderson, kind of giving them a little bit of some juice right now. Running hard, breaking some tackles, hitting holes downhill. This offensive line coming together a little bit.
Robinson out of the gun. Staring down that left side, and he throws it right to SMU. It's picked off. First career interception thrown for Sean Robinson, and it's Shane Haley coming up with it. Boy, he just stared down that right side and threw it right to Haley.
Yeah, Haley just playing inside, and it's really a double slant concept. And as a quarterback, the #1 thing you do, inside out. That's got to be your read. And Haley does a nice job of sinking in, baiting Robinson to make that throw, and trusting the right technique. And that was a big thing for Kevin Kane. Do your job. This back end's got to do their job. Sean Robinson doing a little bit of predetermining there.
First career interception thrown for Robinson in 71 attempts as West carries on first down for SMU.
Okay, what do we have there? We've got the turnover crown, the turnover chalice. Good for them. That's a big turnover for them. They're not only Miami and some other programs that have their own thing. It's a big turnover for this defense. But I'll go back to this, Clay. We've got to pay attention. Sean Robinson, he's a young quarterback. Kevin Kane wanted to put some pressure on him. Right now, he's struggling.
Oh, and now Hicks is struggling to keep the football. In fact, he lost it. Turnover, and Alec Dunham will take it into the end zone. SMU gets a break, but then they make a mistake on the ensuing series as Hicks can't handle it. And Dunham, the senior from Cold Spring, Texas, picks it up and takes it back to the house for TCU. (21-12) TCU now.
But if you're either of these coaching staffs, you might want to think about not having your quarterback handle these zone reads or long held option handoffs. Both of these teams kind of hurt themselves. Who's going to be the one to make the least amount of mistakes?
Welcome back to Dallas, where you're watching the American Conference on ESPN. Clay Matvick, Dan Orlovsky, Paul Carcaterra. Back here at Ford Stadium in Dallas, where TCU has added to its lead on the 25-yard fumble returned by Alec Dunham. Now SMU will have it back at their own 24-yard line. Here's Xavier Jones struggling to get back to the line of scrimmage for SMU. Banigou, the Big 12 preseason defensive player of the year. He seems to always be in the opposing team's backfield causing problems. He was certainly right there for Ben Hicks. That's the first turnover for SMU tonight.
Gary Patterson stressed about him this week. Listen, don't press. He felt last week he pressed so much. Just go play your game. Impact right there.
Here's Hicks. That's a bad throw. Well behind James Prochet. And now we're seeing the Ben Hicks that we saw in the first half last week in the game in Denton against North Texas. A little more uncomfortable.
Certainly, and a little bit of a credit is to this TCU defense and how good they are and how fast they play. You know, with this 3rd and 10, I'll say it again. I want to see a screen. This is a team that's upfield with their rush. Show me that you've got a screen as part of your game plan.
On 3rd and 10, Hicks avoids a sack. Now in trouble, going the wrong way, and he's dunked inside the 15. Corey Bentley, a freshman All-American from a year ago with the sack.
I'll tell you what, gentlemen, when Ben Hicks fumbled on that prior possession, he came off the field completely dejected. His body language down. This past series, he looked rattled.
And Clark, you can't do that as a quarterback, especially a guy with all the starts and who's having a solid night and has the experience for him. Everybody on this young team is looking at you. No matter what, you can't blink. You got to keep going forward. You're still in this game.
And now TCU is going to have glorious field position at the 44-yard line of SMU. 2nd sack tonight for the Frogs.
And this is a lot of pressure on your offensive line to hold up against this elite pass rush from TCU. Ben Hicks got to find a way to get that ball out of his hands.
Gary Patterson through the years at TCU, 161 wins, most in school history, and an undefeated season in 2010. 6 conference titles, 11 or more wins in 10 of the last 15 seasons. He's been at the school a long time, 18 years now. He's got to feel better about the way they're playing, though, too.
And this is also a program, Clay, that since he's gotten there, they've won just about 75% of their games, you know, and 6 conference titles, like you said, and he's really been consistent when other schools, Texas has had 3 head coaches, Texas Tech has had 5, A&M's had 7. He's been there, that constant presence for this program, and it's really elevated them into the conversation with Oklahoma and Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson. This is not just a good football team, it's a very, very good football program.
Robinson now 11 of 21 for 82. He was complete to Rager there. 31-yard line now. First down for TCU. Robinson will hand off. Here's Anderson ripping off another big run. First down inside the 20, down to the 18-yard line. And you know Patterson barked out his guys at halftime. We're seeing a sharper unit here in the second half.
Incredibly detailed, you know, spending time with them. I felt like it was Bill Belichick, you know, how detailed he was, how he saw football. He doesn't really see positions. You just see football players. Now, I know your strength. I know your weakness. I'm going to put you in places to be successful. And you see it right now in their run game. Anderson hitting some downhill runs for this offense.
TCU in the red zone. Robinson steps up, makes a smart play. Nice stiff arm inside the 5, and he's going to be marked out at the 1.
Really
Well, that's a heady
the
play
runner
there
is
by
out
the
of bounds with the
sophomore.
ball short of the goal line.
Was
First
looking
down.
to throw, realized there was nothing there, tucked it and ran. And he's so good at it.
And really, Clay, every time he's done it tonight, something good has happened. And that's part of playing quarterback and managing the game is when the weather's not great, figure out ways to keep your offense moving forward.
After reviewing the play before the runner went out of bounds, the ball was inside the pylon and broke the plane of the goal line. It's a touchdown.
Referee Brandon Cruz. And it's a touchdown for TCU. Sean Robinson, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. And now some breathing room for the Horned Frogs here in the 3rd quarter.
Feel a little bit better about the situation if you're Gary Patterson right now. May not look like it. He's sweating over there just as much as his players are. But how about Sean Robinson throwing the pick on the drive before? And we've talked about how they want him to move on from bad plays.
Yep.
Well done by the young sophomore.
Talking to Patterson, you know, he says, reminds me a lot of Trevon Boykin. Star players that TCU had here not that long ago. Extra point is good, and it's 28-12 TCU. They fell behind 9-0 in this ball game right out of the gate. They were looking at a deficit, but Sean Robinson has led them back. A touchdown here in the 3rd quarter. Welcome back to Dallas. 7:28 to go here in the third quarter. Watching college football on ESPN, presented by Hulu. He's former NFL quarterback Dan Orlovsky. I'm Clay Mathick. Paul Carcaterra is down on the sidelines. He's been dodging raindrops all night. TCU expanding its lead to 28-12. SMU will get it back with a long field ahead of him. Tail of the tape, TCU SMU, a rivalry that goes back over 100 years. Tonight, the 98th meeting. Just 40 miles separating these schools here in the Metroplex. And it's a series, Dan, that has been dominated by the Horned Frogs in recent years. No coincidence. The dominance really started when Patterson took the job as head coach. TCU trying to win its 7th in a row in this series. And SMU has the football back. They're still in this game, down 28-12. Xavier Jones on the carry. And overall, Sonny Dykes in his first year as head coach of SMU. Here in game 2, especially considering how bad the Mustangs played at North Texas last week, can't feel all that bad about how things have gone here tonight against a superior opponent.
No, they've played well. They really have. Some mistakes here and there. And we see another sack there by Ben Hicks. But I'll say this, Clay, when we talked to him yesterday, he lit up with excitement. He truly believes it's an untapped place. Dallas, they've got a new $27 million practice facility. He's excited for it. But this is where they can't be. This is just where this offense is right now. You can't be in 2nd and 3rd and longs, dropping Ben Hicks back with an offensive line that is outmatched against TCU right now.
Sonny Dykes scowl there in his gains. Juwan Johnson combined on that sack. 3rd sack tonight for the TCU defense. 3rd down and a dozen from the end zone. Hicks on corks, incomplete. TCU's going to get the ball back with great field position. Brandon Benson, the intended receiver. Gladney in on the coverage.
Gladney again tonight. You see that shell coverage on Hicks. DB's playing glue type coverage on their receivers. Gladney having another bright moment. But I still think the future's bright for SMU. I really do, and so does Sonny Dykes. And he even said, listen, SMU feels like home. I've been here a long time in the state of Texas. He can recruit here. Like I said, they've got a brand new $27 million practice facility coming that he thinks, Clay, is going to have huge impact on them because of the afternoon weather when school starts for them.
Yeah, they've been conducting practices in the afternoon, right around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the Texas heat has taken a toll on his team. So the practice facility will be huge. They'll be able to escape that. He thinks, you know, there's a huge difference just in the last few weeks, because before school started, they were able to practice in the morning, but once it started, as far as school, they were able to go in the afternoon only, and it's been devastating to the team, he says, as far as the conditioning and
I get it. You know, I played down for the Houston Texans for a couple years, and we wouldn't think about having practice in the summertime in the afternoon because it would just drain you so much. So he really believes that that practice facility is going to have a huge impact on the long-term health and performance of his team.
Robinson to Turpin for about 6 on 1st down. Now TCU with great field position, they can really go a long way to taking a stranglehold on this football game with a good series here. That might be the last play of the 3rd quarter. It was such a bad start for TCU here tonight. But going to the 4th, Gary Patterson's team's going to have the lead.
This is the end of the 3rd quarter.
A 2-hour weather delay here tonight. SMU took advantage of it, took out a 9-0 lead on this game, but TCU will take the lead now going to the 4th. It's 28-12 Frogs. These numbers really document how the flow of the game has gone. It was SMU early, but TCU since the start of the 2nd.
You know, Clay, kids come to TCU to play for one of the best defenses in the country. And they don't do a lot, and it's basic and simple, incredibly detailed and efficient. And that's what we saw in that third quarter right there. It's a suffocating type of defense where you can watch tape and think, it'll be relatively easy, and then you get on the field and go, whoa, this team is fast and they do it well.
Sonny Cumbie got the headset on there. Fifth year at TCU, second as the play caller. He worked for Mike Leach, worked for Tommy Tuberville. He's got an interesting background, young, energetic coach. You really think that someday he's going to be a head coach?
Oh, he's got it written all over. Incredibly well spoken, understands the game. He's got a rich history of who he's learned from. He's doing a really nice job with the young quarterback.
3 receivers here on 3rd down and 3. Robinson to Turpin, and he's got room inside the 20, 10, touchdown. Wow, Cavante Turpin, explosive. He's got a punt return touchdown and now a 42-yard catch for a touchdown.
We throw around the term world-class speed a lot on the football field. You talk about a kid catching the ball and going, I'm gone. Split defenders, no need for moves. You're not fast enough.
It's like he's shot out of a cannon. Both bunts for the extra point. Turpin is 5'9", 157. You know, guys built like that, generally you don't think that they're going to make a great football player, let alone at this level. But it's not the case with Turpin because of that world-class speed. One of our impact players tonight, Cavante Turpin, with a 42-yard catch and run. And now TCU with a lot of breathing room here in the 4th quarter. 21 unanswered points for TCU. It's now 35-12. Cavante Turpin with 42-yard touchdown reception. Such a good return man. And sometimes you forget he's a really good receiver too. Now Crochet on the return for SMU. He'll walk it out across the 25-yard line. How would you describe his play?
You see it right there. I've kind of coined this term, magical sloppiness. And here's the thing, Clay. Watching him, everything he does is just a little bit sloppy. And sometimes that sloppy leads to bad stuff, but man, at times it leads to magical stuff. And watching him play, it reminds me a lot of Tony Romo and Ben Roethlisberger, where, you know, his feet don't have to be perfect to be really accurate. And it's just this magical sloppiness that's so much fun to watch.
After the penalty, Xavier Jones takes it out across the 10-yard line. Gain of 7. So for Darnold, we'll see if the moment is too big for him. Again, a rookie quarterback. You know, Monday Night Football, it's going to be...
But he doesn't play like a rookie. At least we haven't seen it in the preseason. And it really goes back to the fact that he doesn't have to have perfect feet. And NFL pockets don't allow that. And so he's really accurate without perfect feet. And that's going to afford him kind of a expedited learning experience. Don't expect to see a rookie play, at least performance-wise, Monday night against the Lions. I love the kid coming out, and that's kind of how it got. I keep going back to that magical sloppiness. It's just, he's really fun to watch.
Now another 3rd down and long for SMU. Down 35-12. Raiders-Rams in that Monday Night Football second game. Terrific. Hicks spun around, incomplete. And now it's 4th down. Crochet, the intended target for Hicks. Panigu right up in Hicks's face. Boy, Patterson's defense has really looked impressive here in the second half.
They just play with so much speed. And like I said, you watch them on tape and they don't do a lot. And as a quarterback, you can fool yourself into thinking, oh, what they do is simple. And you feel good about it. And then you take a snap and go, these guys are flying. It reminds me a lot of playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in the day. Wouldn't do a lot. You get on the field against them, you'd feel good before the first snap, and then You get hit in the mouth because they're so fast.
Turpin might hit SMU in the mouth here. Already with a punt return touchdown, and he gives TCU great field position near the 15-yard line.
I expect you to throw that turkey hole over that corner's head in between the safety and the corner. Derek's going to go. Derek, hey, coach, Derek, you got to throw that turkey hole.
Michael Collins in a quarterback now for TCU. All right, explain to everybody what you're talking about when it comes to the turkey hole.
Well, first of all, I don't know why it's called turkey hole. I know it's a honey hole, but it's this 18 to 22 yards on the sideline against cover 2, where the corner sits in the flat near the line of scrimmage and the safety plays high, kind of near a hash, and it's just a soft zone where a lot of quarterbacks like to drive the ball. And like I said, I know it as a honey hole.
Yeah.
Gruden's become famous on Monday Night Football going, hey, see that guy hit that turkey hole?
I'll give you a C+.
Sounds like my high school and college academic career.
Collins, the backup quarterback, runs it in for TCU. Ivy League transfer from Penn, who sat out last year. He's adding to TCU's lead here late in the 4th. And this score is not going to be indicative of how this game started for the Frogs. They got down early, but they have responded well since getting down 9-0. Sophomore from New Canaan, Connecticut. See a lot of Ivy League guys coming to the Big 12, but he wanted to play at a higher level without sacrificing the academics. TCU is a top-notch business school, so Collins is here. And he's going to be the backup to Sean Robinson. Now 42-12. TCU moments away from wrapping this one up here in Dallas, leading 42-12. You look ahead to the schedule, Dan, for these Horned Frogs. It's going to be a challenge, especially the next couple of weeks. Crochet brings it across the 25 for SMU. So the Frogs will be against Ohio State next Saturday night in Arlington. It'll be game 3 of the Urban Meyer suspension. Meyer was back in practice this week, but he can't coach on the field until the 22nd against Tulane. But you look at the Frogs here, Ohio State, then they got to go to Texas. Iowa State won't be easy. Oklahoma looming on October 20th. TCU is going to be 2-0 going into that big game against Ohio State next week. SMU is going to be 0-2. Last time they started 0-2 was the last season June Jones was here.
They got to go to Michigan next weekend.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a tough test.
And you look at the rest of the month, doesn't get any easier. Navy, that's always tough to prepare for the triple option. Houston Baptist, and then a trip to UCF. That's going to do it. 42-12 the final. TCU got down 9-0 in the first quarter, but Gary Patterson and the Horned Frogs are going to hold on to the Iron Skillet.
Really nice job of TCU just settling in, handling everything that happened poorly for them early on, playing like the team that they are, and they get to take home the Iron Skillet.
What are they going to cook in that thing?
Right now, after this rain delay, I'd love something. Whatever.
It's late. Need a midnight snack.
Whatever they've got, I'll take.
7th straight win in the series. TCU has won 11 of the last 12 now against SMU, their oldest rivals. 42-12 the final. Coming up next on ESPN2, it's First Take. For Dan Orlovsky and Paul Carcaterra and our entire crew on Playmatic, we say so long from the Big D. TCU going into the game with Ohio State 2-0 after the win here tonight.